Hey guys, my name is Blaine. I am the owner of this 2006 Range Rover full-size. It's HSE, the L322. My wife and I have had this for 6 years next month, and it's been a great vehicle for us, but we're going to be selling it. Actually, it's already listed on Craigslist. But I've been meaning to do a walk around, just kind of an overview of the vehicle. Because that's obviously with coronavirus going on, it's a lot harder for people to come and take a look and feel comfortable. We've gotten some interest and a lot of people that have contacted me from outside of the state. So to make this a little bit easier, I'm going to do a walk around. Anyway, here in my garage, I'm going to go and do a cold start. I haven't driven it in 2 days now. Just so you can see that, and then I'll go outside in the good daylight, now that it's a sunny day, and do a comprehensive walk around with some good light. So I'll go over everything when we get outside, but all of the lights have been replaced, or the HIDs burnt out. They're actually xenons. All of the exterior marker lights have been upgraded to LEDs by me, and including the inside too. Fog lights are just regular fogs. I know it's super glary, so you're not going to be able to see very well, but they just have a Laminex cover on them that's green. Happy to take that off if that's not your style. Obviously that's helped protect the lenses there from getting chips. Anyway, we'll do this outside. Just wanted to give you a quick little overview of all the lights work and everything, and taking very good care of this car, extremely good care of this car, probably compared to a lot of L322 owners. Yeah, we get it muddy, it's been dirty. It's got a few very light scratches in the clear coat from narrow trails. But in general, it's been very well maintained. Put a new battery in. We're gonna go. We have, new radiator, new air conditioning system, everything. The dryer, the compressor, the hoses, everything. The fan belt, air filter is good for now. Oops. Do the air filter again. 20,000 miles now. This rattles a little bit. The plastic cover. I need to find a bolt. I think my mechanic forgot to put a bolt in there. But up to date on everything. They just had an alignment done a couple weeks ago. The tires were new in January. They're BF Goodrich KO2s. Anyway, I'll take it outside and get you guys some more data. Just realized before I go outside, I should probably show you guys what I got a little iPad holder in here too. I got to talk about what it's like with the lights. So people don't know this, but the luxury package on these vehicles gives you some lights in the door handles, and also it's probably really hard to see there, but well, trust me, down in the pocket of the doors there's actually a light, ambient light too there, which is nice if you're trying to see something in the dark. Sorry, it's really hard to see, but you can see here in the door handles how there's little LEDs. All the little lights on everything work. Of course, the dash works, the radio works as it should. And again, this is a 2006, so there was an upgrade in 2010, but generally speaking, this is a very reliable one. Anyway, there's all the Christmas tree of lights down there, very bright. There's no light in the center console here, but if you turn this on here, obviously, like I mentioned in the first part of the video, the intro, there's LEDs everywhere. So everything has been upgraded there, including the knee lights, everything. You got some map lights here too. I got those in the back here. I'll see if I can fumble around and see them. So those are kind of nice, give a nice glow to the cabin. There's also, I don't know if you can see that. You see how there's no lights on, but there's a little bit of light anyway. They do have some little, I don't know if they're fiber optic or what they are. They have them in the front here too, just so there's a little bit of glow. That's not from my camera. That's from these little tiny lights up here. There you go. Anyway, kind of cool to see the interior, because not a lot of people would be able to see this. And walking around in daylight, you obviously can't see any of this stuff. So now we'll go outside. Here's a quick little video of me driving. Yes, I have my eyes on the road. I just wanted to give you guys a feel for the sound. That's obviously one of the cool parts of this V8 naturally aspirated engine. I'll show a better angle later, but I did put a new cover on, a new steering wheel cover. It is black. It's an Italian leather from a British seller. It's custom made for the Range Rover. They make them. They make a lot of these. I'm very happy with it. The heated steering wheel still works great. There's plenty of heat to come through it. It's very thin. It's a supple cowhide. Anyway, get after it for a second so you can hear. Brakes are at 8 millimeters, which is about 60 to 70% of their life. I think they're usually 13 when they're new. So that's nice. I had them inspected when I had the alignment done middle of September at Les Schwab. So yeah, they have a lot of life left, and that's great news, obviously, for the next buyer. All right, catch you in a second. Okay, guys, back here. Got some good daylight, so we can do a little walk around the outside. So as you can see, it's got some pretty dark tint on it. I mentioned that in the Craigslist ad, but for those of you on YouTube who haven't seen the ad, this was done by a local outfit in Bellevue, actually, called AccuTint. They did an absolutely fantastic job. I did not do a fantastic job at keeping my keeping that from hitting here. So there's actually a few marks, unfortunately. This is easy to retint, and if anybody doesn't like the dark tint, I'm happy to remove that one and this one at no charge. Saves you about $100 if you just don't like it. The windshield is tinted, lighter, of course, but it's still dark enough I can see how some people might not like it. We love it. Really does a great job keeping the glare down. There's a couple cracks. So this crack stemmed from a little tiny rock we just got down there a couple of weeks ago. That crack, this long one, you see that? You should be able to see it. That's been there since 3 weeks after we bought it. So it's been there for 6 years. That's obviously means we didn't care. We didn't do anything about it. So if that's something that bothers you, it's about $466 plus tax, I think, from Speedy Glass here in Bothell, Washington, where I'm located. If that's something that really is a deal breaker, you really want new windshield glass. I mean, who wouldn't want new windshield glass? I can arrange to have it done, and I can take care of it, but you got to pay for it. I'm not going to put any more money into taking care of the glass when I certainly don't care. Those chips have been filled. Those are a while ago. You know, this kind of stuff happens. It's a huge windscreen. This has the heated windshield, and that $466 is, yes, for a generic, a non-Land Rover. You can see this is the Pilkington glass. You can't really see it like that, can you? That's a Pilkington glass original, and having a new Pilkington glass piece put in would be like $1,400. So I would recommend just having the generic one put in. It does come with the rain sensor, and it does come with the filaments, so you'll still have the heated function. So you wouldn't know it from OEM. So about $500 if you want a new windshield, and I'm not including that in the purchase price. Anyway, so back to the tint. If anybody wants the front tint, front two windows removed, I'm happy to do that. This is a little bit lighter than that. Of course, you can't tell. You just got to trust me. That is pretty dark. So this is dark. This window and the one on the other side have been double tinted, as has the rear. What are you doing in there, Blaine? Why do you have it double tinted? Yeah, that's a great question. Well, we used to have Buster, that's our dog. Buster used to hang out with me at work, so he used to hang out in this crate. So we had to get it double tinted to keep some heat out. It's just all the tint is ceramic. It's all high quality stuff. It's Formula One Pinnacle, I think, is the brand. I got it all in the paperwork from AccuTint, obviously, but so the window in the back here is dark. It's definitely really dark. It's not going to show you a whole lot, but oh yeah, and I forgot. I had a piece of firewood from a bundle that I didn't secure, kind of dinged that up a little bit. Why is it not focusing? Unfortunately, so you could retint that if you really care, or just pull it off. But anyway, long story short, all the windows are pretty dark. That one's really dark. Same darkness, lighter, so you can still see through at the right angle. Having a light interior makes the dark tint not seem as dark as you might think if it was black or something. Anyway, I'm probably rambling on too much. Anyway, the seats are in excellent condition. I'm going to try and get out of my own sunlight here and show you. My wife and I we don't have any kids. We just have the dog, and the dog usually sits in a little lap carrier up on her lap. So he doesn't, he's a 10-pound dog. He doesn't do anything to the leather seats, and we never let him back here. There was unfortunately a little orange mark from the previous owner, from like a marker. I cannot get it out no matter what I try, unfortunately. But that's really small. Got a little center doodad here. So the Lux package itself does not come with this. I don't believe. I think it's the cold weather package that comes with this. So this is a ski sack. I've used it a few times, but a ski sack inside of the ski sack, so it's very clean. Get back up a little bit here so you can see, you know, it carries out, you can fit 210 centimeter skis in here, I'm sure. Like cross-country skis, if that's what you're into. You can fit a snowboard, probably not two. This cinches down so you can keep your load from just rolling all over the place. But anyway, it's a pretty slick little system. Let me fold that back up for a sec. Okay, back to this. So I folded that back up, and this is just a piece of pleather. Velcros back up on there to keep that connection secured. There's the armrest. So one thing you'll note, that center passenger seat belt has been missing since we got it, unfortunately, and we don't care because we only ever go somewhere with 1 or 2 people, not 5, and we don't put a kid in there or anything. So these do have the safety tethers. There's a number of them. They're back in here. There's little cleats. Anyway, you don't care. If you have kids, this has all the modern stuff. It's 2006. This is not the Stone Age like some of the classics and P38s. Anyway, leather's in very good condition. You know, headrests are removable if you need to do that. Let's see here. So these come down, of course. You can just fold them down like that. There's the boot pass-through. You can see I have a boot pass-through in this plywood box, which is included for $11,000. If people don't want that or want to chop some things out of the accessories that I'm including for $11,000, I can lower the price accordingly, of course. So those fold up. They obviously remove completely too. I've had them all completely removed to have you know, a lot of cargo room for camping or extended road trips. That's a piece of cake to do. Let me go on a quick tangent for a second. So while we're looking at this, you can see that this has, I think this is called Forge, was the interior colorway. This is kind of a, you know, silvery paint. Not unattractive. It's a little bit of a cheap application, so it kind of scratches off. Sometimes you can see how it's flaked off in some places. Similarly, up here they have this black kind of rubbery coating. Well, this rubbery coating looks fine here because it's in the back. Nobody touches it. And then of course there's cherry accents throughout. And those are LED too. So up here on the driver's side, where obviously it's going to get used a lot more, let's see if I can get a good shot. You can see how this is all smoothed away. Can you see that? So the rubbery coating is still intact and soft. It's a nice soft touch, but it's worn away in some places. And it happens on the steering wheel too. You know, it's every Range Rover owner expects this because it's just the quality they did back in that day on the application of plastic finishes. But you know, it's coming away here a little bit too, a little bit here. Yeah, whatever. It's a 15-year-old car at this point. But so here's what this looks like. That scratches up a little bit. I put a little thing in there to keep some keys quiet when you're rattling around. Let's do that. There we go. There's a little hydraulic piston that holds that up. So pretty, I mean, I guess it's kind of a medium-sized center console. So here's the power cord for phone chargers, which we'll talk about in a second. I don't want to get into that now. Anyway, I just wanted you to see that there are some finish, you know, irregularities. It's oops, putting the seat back here. Whoops, let me do that. So some of these finishes are starting to come undone a little bit just because they scratch away with abrasion, but in general, I think it's in pretty good condition, especially for the era. Put some drop stops here just to keep stuff from falling down between the cracks. You're welcome, future owner, because that's really handy. I also got a little break the glass and cut the seatbelt kind of thing secured to the tunnel. It's included. It's very well put together. Anyway, the reason I was bringing up the finishes, including this, is that this component and the ones in the back, of course, and over there, those are replaceable. So this is how it came stock. I haven't done anything to it. You can see on that one, it's coming out a little bit too. It's just kind of scraped off. So if you want, for like 450 pounds, whatever that is in American dollars, you can get this finish, this cherry finish, which obviously is already, you know, on these guys here, on the other side, up here. You can get that for a number of things. You can get, this is leather, this is part of the Lux package, so this is not, you know, faux leather. You can get this replaced with cherry to match this. You can get this replaced with cherry, the shifter knob. You can get this replaced with cherry. I think for the 450 pounds, it was these guys, front and rear, and maybe these. Anyway, if you don't like some of the finer things, it's not a lot of money to dive into getting a cherry upgrade. These are aftermarket parts that I think Extreme UK makes, and there's other manufacturers too. They're just kind of nice if you want to go with the cherry thing. It's a beautiful wood veneer that's all real over here, so making it kind of carry over to other parts of the car wouldn't be a horrible fashion statement. Anyway, what are we talking about here? So this box thing, we'll talk about the other side of it, the business end, in just a second. I know this might be a little dorky, but we've camped and been on road trips, and it's COVID season, so we've been washing our hands from the back of the Range Rover for months now. So having a paper towel holder, a simple human one, is just kind of nice. Anyway, so how do you get to the boot? How do you get your spare, full-size spare out? Well, this is just a little wing nut. That's all. This comes through from the other underside, so that's really easy to do. No tools required. It's very strong. Obviously keeps the box from lifting up if you're like going over a G out or into a G out, over a bump. If you're going over a bump really fast, which it's fun to drive fast, so that happens. So I just figured I'd lock it down. So back over here, on this end, I've left, let's see if I can get the right lighting here. I've left an Allen key here. Why is it not focusing? You can't really see that. There's an Allen key that I've left here so that it's always accessible, because this part of the box is screwed into the load space lockdown place. Anyway, that kind of helps give you something to easily get it removed but keep it very secure. So what is this whole thing? Well, I used to, I'm a carpenter by heart, so I like to play with wood, and these boxes, this box came together because my friend had these two drawers here laying around at his shop, and I said, hey, those are the perfect size, let me see what I can do. So I put this together with the drawers already assembled. They're nicely upholstered, not by me, by somebody who actually knew what they were doing. Very well secured, and it's just nice to have a carpeted drawer. These are on really sturdy slides. They're like attached every couple inches. I've easily had 100 pounds in each of them. Obviously, to remove the box from the vehicle to get to the full-size spare, you're going to want to pull crap out of the drawers, but that's easy. For example, you push in a little bit so that they don't rattle when you're driving. They're really secure, and this is stainless steel hardware. This is aluminum, and it's adjustable if you ever needed to adjust it, but I put it together very well. Oh, and there's lights too on both sides, and they just remove like this. They're held on by a little screw and Velcro situation. There you go. Anyway, low tech, but really handy when you're here trying to do something in darkness. Anyway, so you push in just a little bit and then slide the lock out. Got a little mag bar on there for holding stuff too. So what I did is this particular Hilti bag, not Hilti, who is this? Makita bag from Amazon was like 20 bucks, and it perfectly fits. So you could get two of these, or I can give you one, I suppose, and you can buy a second one, and then you can just pull this out, and voila, it's empty, right? So these things, I know they seem kind of silly, but if you're parked downhill and you need to be able to have the drawer not slide forward, you just put these in there. They're perfectly cut to length. What did I do? Oh, right, you don't need two. If you're doing both, you only need one. Anyway, that'll keep them from rolling forward when you're facing downhill. So anyway, probably getting a bit long-winded here, but bottom line is I put some time and effort into putting this thing together. It will fit any Range Rover L322, so if you don't like it, I'll just keep it, charge you less money for the Rover, and sell it to somebody else, because it's a great setup. Or hell, maybe I'll just keep it for another vehicle in the future too. It could be put into pretty much any SUV. So anyway, wrapping this up quickly, what the hell is this? So this is just a piece of plywood that I put together, or I cut out of a different stock. It's not the same birch veneer. This is actually a high quality birch veneer 3/4 ply. This is just another piece of ply I had laying around. I put some, I don't even remember, some kind of a Dailies wood finish on it to make it waterproof. So what I think is kind of handy is it just, you can just shove it in there, and you have a flatter surface. So like if you're, I don't know, drinking wine out in the woods or whatever, it's a nice hard flat surface that you can put things on that are tippy. So it's kind of nice if you're like camping and cooking near the back of the Rover. You have another place to put stuff, or I mean, heck, you go out to fast food and you want a place to put your greasy burger bag down. You don't want to put it on the carpet, or at least I don't, because I'm very, very careful with this thing. So I thought that would be a twofold answer to how do I make a flat surface for the back of the Rover without being really complicated. And actually it's a three-part thing, because you also might need to use this if you have a flat tire out in the sand dunes or a muddy area or on a grassy slope and I don't know, you're running the tires at 6 PSI stupidly and a tire rolls off a rim and you got to do something about it. Well, the easy answer is get out the jack, of course, which we have the standard Range Rover jack here and it works great. You can hook up a drill to it to make it operate very quickly too. But if you're on something soft, you're not going to be able to do any lifting unless you have a hard surface, so broad surface. So this you can, I actually have some included screws. I'm probably over explaining, but basically there's a way that I've devised that you can attach the stock Range Rover jack to this quickly if you just have a impact driver around with you. Of course you're not going to drive around with this all the time. I'm just talking about when you're on like some adventure, you're gone for 10 days on a road trip, or you live in the country cow pastures and you need a way to be able to lift stuff up, lift the Rover up to fix something or get under it. This is a great solution and it's cheap and it's included. So what I did is I just made this so that it could be slid in here, just the right size. And then this little guy, just a piece of foam, if you wedge this in between the two, then the edge of the box, if this thing ever gets out of alignment at all, it won't rub here. It's very quiet. So this keeps everybody just nicely in alignment, and it keeps the box just, you know, secure, in addition to the bolts, of course. So back to the dog. So Buster, our little buddy, used to spend, you know, a couple hours in here at a time, or we're going to grocery stores and it's not too hot out, of course, or too cold. Although there is a 12-volt socket there. So if you have a dog, we have like a 12-volt heated blanket thing. Depending on how long we're gone, it'll run for a long time, and it doesn't draw that much, and it shuts off automatically, I think, after 45 minutes anyway. Anyway, long-winded story short, there's ways of keeping a cold dog warm, and if it's hot out, the ceramic tint certainly goes a long way. I mean, look how dark that is. I mean, it's extremely dark. I mean, you can see through it if you try really hard, but it blocks a ton of heat. And we used to go to the effort of kind of testing out, like, what does 71 degrees for the dog feel like if he's in the sun or not in the sun, parked in the shade. We had a little thermometer and we'd run the sensor inside and out and see where we're at, and this thing's amazing. So if you happen to have a dog or cats or whatever you're into, this is a great way to keep them contained. Why is there no door, you ask? Well, you don't need a door because they can't go anywhere. I mean, maybe, I don't know, God, maybe a kitten, but not a dog. Certainly not a 10-pound or bigger dog. And you're not going to put more than a 20-pound dog in that crate. Anyway, so with it closed, they can't get out. There's no need to have the door there just rattling around making noise. So I will show this. I'll remove in just a second. I can't do it with one hand, so I'll show you what that looks like in just 1 second here. Okay guys, I pulled the drawer box thing out and the dog crate. So again, if you don't want this kind of stuff, or the sunshade, or any of the other accessories I have up front, including you know, phone chargers, that kind of stuff, iPad holder up by the passenger seat rail, totally respect that. Everybody wants all that crap and they want just a low price. I value this and all the other stuff I'll walk through, including the sunshade and the click and go system. There's like a little hook set up there. That fucker's $100, believe it or not. Anyway, all that stuff's worth $500 to me, so I'm asking $11 for all this stuff, $10.5 if you don't want any of that. Anyway, so here's the cargo area looks like without the box in there. You see the carpet's pretty clean. Gosh, it actually looks worse in the video than it does in real life. There's a couple of stains there that just really can't even see that well, except from the camera. Imagine that. Yeah, gosh. Anyway, it's been so long since I've had this out. So anyway, let's pop this open. So here you go. So here's okay, so here's the full-size spare. I didn't mention this yet, but you probably already noticed these are LR3 18-inch wheels. These are not standard Range Rover wheels. They actually have a higher weight rating on them than the 20-inch wheels we had previously. 20 is not appropriate for off-road, not for this size of vehicle at least, where you can't go bigger than a 32-inch outside diameter tire anyway. So we did the LR3 18-inch wheels. These are 265/60 R18 wheels. They're the BFG Goodrich KO2s. They're awesome. They're a mud and snow rated. There's a little traction guy there. There you go. I mean, you probably already know what these tires are, but like I said previously, I put these on in January, the end of January. Didn't drive a whole lot because of COVID for, February, March, April, May. Went on a couple of road trips this summer, so they have like 4,400 miles on them now. And I just did the 5th tire rotation, or 5-wheel tire rotation, so that full-size spare in the back used to be, I think, here. Anyway, so that was done prematurely. Obviously, tire rotations before 6,000 miles, or maybe 7 or 8, is kind of anal, but that's what I chose to do, so it's all done. So after the tire rotation at Discount Tire, which is a free rotation thing for life if you don't know. Then I took it to Les Schwab after I went on a hard trail and jarred the vehicle all over the place. Wanted to make sure the tires were running straight. So right after that tire rotation a couple weeks ago, the middle of September, I had the tire alignment done by Les Schwab. Anyway, as previously mentioned, the brakes are at 8 millimeters front and back. You can obviously inspect them if you come look at it yourself. They're in great shape and will last at least a year unless you're driving it a lot, and probably more than that if you're not driving it very often, because you're only taking it for road trips and you're not commuting like a lot of us aren't these days. So the load space in here, so yeah, this whole, I know this looks kind of janky. It is janky. This is how I attached non-permanently that bolt there so that I could mount through that little part on the back of the box. When you pull it out, the carpet's fuzzy enough, you probably won't even notice that is there. But in the meantime, the jack would normally be up there. I have it pulled out so it's behind the seat normally, just so that if I ever need to patch a tire, but I don't need to get the full-size spare out, I'm just literally patching a tire and inflating it and putting it back on the road. It's silly to have to dig all the way in here to get the full size, or to get the jack out, excuse me. So that's where it normally mounts to, and you could do that, of course. I just choose to have it out front. So let's put this away. Okay, so there's like a little foot there. This goes back away. So yes, these are a little bit oversized, the 265/60. We used to have Cooper Discoverer 265/65s. Which were a non-LT tire. They were a passenger metric tire. Not nearly tough enough for this vehicle. We got several flats in them, so I really am happy with these. I've taken them on some really rocky trails. They're bomb-proof. They also weigh like 9 pounds more per tire, so you pay for that with the fuel economy a tiny bit, but not so bad. Anyway, they're Burley tires, and the 265/65 Coopers that I previously had, I think barely fit in here because there's just not a lot of room. It's meant to have a 255/55. So this one does fit. Did a little choppy of the plastic back when I had the bigger tires. These 265/60s I think are like 30.5 inches outside diameter, so just under 31. Not huge. It's a Range Rover. It's not meant to be a big jacked up truck. It's supposed to be a refined SUV that happens to be able to go everywhere. So you're not going to have any problem pulling the fifth tire out or putting one back in there. It's an easy fit now that they're much closer to the original size, only slightly bigger. Anyway, so the load space cover that would normally clip in here and here that pulls out, it's gone. It was missing when we bought it. You can buy them used for like $300-400 bucks. They're pretty rare to find, and they have this kind of material too, so they'll be like chipped also. If you want a brand new one, it's like $1,100 from at least my Land Rover dealership, and it takes like probably 2 months to get them. But if you do want a brand new load space cover, they are gettable. It's a steep buy-in. I'm sorry I don't have it, but like I said, the previous owners didn't leave it. So we are the third owners, by the way. The first two, the vehicle was sold at Land Rover Seattle, which is in Lynnwood, about 6 miles that way. And it's been in the Northwest since, so we're the third owners. Anyway, there's cargo tie-down points for nets on both sides. If you're not using a box with drawers like I am, that's probably a more standard way of keeping your groceries contained. I do have some nets actually. So there's the DVD navigation system. No, that is not a DVD player. There's no things in the headrest. You could, with this system, hook up an iPad carrier to keep your kids entertained on both seats. You just put this little base on to the underside of the headrest, and then you can play their iPad or something for them. But that's the DVD navigation system. The old Nokia phone thing. Who uses that anymore? Sorry. Little tiny area to keep some stuff in there. Like I said, those have never been used because I've had drawers the whole time, but nice little deep well there to carry some stuff. There's, I don't know, stuff. This obviously pops out. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty. You can put beers in there, really. It's not going to keep things very cold, but that's a nice little waterproof place to dump stuff, maybe toe straps or something. Okay, enough talking back here. Oh, this is not very exciting. Pull this up, pull that open. That's where there's some more fuses back here and stuff like that. By the way, parking sensors do not work on this, or rather they work intermittently. So the reason I'm saying that while I'm back here is because see that little blue guy, that gray guy, and that white guy? There's a little module that pulls out from this. It's very easy. You undo these screws, pull it out. I think that's the culprit. I think that's why it's not working, because we'll be somewhere where it's warm and sunny. It works fine. Literally just works. And then I don't even know what it is. It's like cold air, latitude, longitude. There's something about, I think, the module, because when I've tested before, listen to the backup sensors. I got cut off there. Anyway, when I was testing the backup sensors before, and obviously on the front, I couldn't find any that weren't working. So I think the problem is that module. I just put it all back. But that module is about 85 bucks. I've seen it as low as 55, and of course that's for a pull-off part, not for a new one. I'm sure a new one's $500 or something ridiculous, but I think there's just some kind of random problem with that. I don't really care. I think that's something that the next owner could chase down if they wanted to make that work, or you could just pull the fuse and not even worry about it. I just replaced these cables, actually both of them. That one snapped after just years of abuse and use and sitting on it. So I replaced, I replaced that one and this one. They're both brand new. Let's see here. So anyway, with the seats folded like this, you have quite a bit of room here. Let's do a walk around here so you can see how much volume there is. So if you put this seat all the way forward, this is the driver's seat. I'm not going to do the whole thing. You don't care about that. But if I do that, and then remove, like literally remove this, like pull it out, like undo the bolts and leave it in your garage or whatever, from what is it? This, from right here, from this part of the seat, from that all the way back to the back of the tailgate folded up, there's 84 inches. So again, driver's seat all the way forward. You just have a ton of room, and then you can sleep in here. You can put a full-size mattress or twin or whatever it is. 84 inches from the folded part of this to the seat folded forward with the 60 part pulled out. So that's kind of something to consider. Okay, guys. So let's talk about the Lux package. So there's a number of leather, extended areas of leather in the Lux package, which this has, and the cold weather package also, which not all Rovers came with. In fact, I don't know if I would say it's rare to have a Lux package, but certainly I haven't seen it on Craigslist anytime soon or anytime recently. So having the leather upgrade is nice. I've even heard, I don't know if this is actually true, but I've heard that the base seats that are in the non-Lux package, so if you don't have the Lux package, you have the basic seats, that they're actually not even leather. I don't know if that's true or not. I've never actually sat in one. I've seen them at the dealership before, and I've seen what they look like when they don't have the extra seat adjustments and the extra the nice leather, which is called Windsor leather, which they still call it Windsor leather in the new L405s too. Anyway, there's a little dimple there. I guess I should point that out too, right? It's a dimple in the leather. It's not gonna hurt it, but so this is very, very soft and thick. I don't know how else I can show you other than try and like press on it, but like it's a very nice and supportive leather, good quality foam. It's definitely an upgrade from what I've seen in the base Rover. So if you're comparing this to something else that has similar miles, let's say even that person also has all their maintenance records. Let's just say they're as anal retentive as me, which would be an impressive person to be just like me in that regard. I'll show you what I mean in a second, but I've really taken care of this thing, and we have, you know, not really a rare color, but a light interior, which is harder to find. Lux package with the nicer seats, Windsor leather. And when I say nicer seats, let me elaborate, because this isn't going to make sense to everybody. So down here, obviously, this is for an inflatable lumbar, right? That's for going in and out at the lumbar area. Obviously, you go back and forward. And then you also go, here, we're already all the way down. So this goes up. You got a little tiny dog in the front seat with you, or a little grandma with short legs. You're going to put that thing all the way up. And then, what else we got? So up, down, that goes up and down. And on top of all that, what really the differentiator here is that, let's see if I can get this focused first. So if you go, if you fold this button forward, this folds here, which also folds the headrest forward. And then there's also, of course, the main backrest, which is like this. That's folding it back like so. Everybody's got that. But having this two-stage seat, this is a BMW seat, and I think the quilting is obviously different, but a BMW 5 Series owner from like 2007 or 8 or something like that said these are the seats from that. That's what these are. They're a BMW seat because BMW owned them up through, oh God, I don't even remember anymore. But the point is, this is the rare year that you have the two-stage adjustable seats. It's a Lux package, which not every Rover is like this, and it seems to be at least somewhat unique or somewhat rare. You have leather on the dash too, which not all Rovers have that, right? Anyway, it's a nice place to be. There's a lot of leather in here, and for people that are looking for, you know, a higher spec version of these years, the 06 is great because you get the Jaguar Ford motor up front, but you get the BMW seats. So that's unique. There's literally only one year that has those two things together, the fancier seats and the Ford motor. So if you're looking for, you know, the nicer, luxurious leather, and you want the reliable Ford motor, not the BMW one, no offense, it's the truth. The BMW motors are not as reliable, and they have issues, although they can be dealt with. You know, having just a solid motor is a huge benefit. So I think that's something that makes what I'm selling here a little more unique. And when people are trying to say, oh, you should be selling this for $9,000 or, you know, 9,500 max, I don't agree. I've done a ton of work to this thing. I've replaced the entire air conditioning system because I had to. You know, it did fail, but obviously I can't leave without an air conditioning system. So it has a brand new system now. Air conditioner, the dryer, the hoses, everything, like I mentioned in the garage in my intro. So when you consider that that's not going to break down on you ever, it's dealt with, it's been handled, and the fact that the air suspension compressor has been replaced, the air struts are both new, not a couple thousand miles ago, it's been 20,000 miles now, but if people are still living on borrowed time with a Range Rover that they're selling as comparable or has similar miles to this one, it's not really fair, because I've taken care of things that are now not going to bother you in the future. So you're welcome. Anyway, I should probably wrap this up. So I do have the Range Rover rubber seats. They look like shit right now, but you know, I usually had them pretty clean when I was showing them the other week. They're nice. They're heavyweight. The carpet's really clean under there. They're two-piece in the back. They're easy to just clip up and spray out with a pressure washer at the car wash. Here, I guess I should pull this too so you can see. Let's put that back for a second. Oh, let's talk about this for a second. Yeah, well, this looks like jacked up, right? Yeah, it is. So this had a crack. You can see, obviously, the driver's seat's going to get a lot more use. When you get your fat ass out of the Rover, you slide off. The plastic that's here that you saw on the other side, it had a crack from the previous owner. It squeaked when I would be going over bumps. I guess that means I have a fat ass. So I mean, I'm heavy enough that it would squeak on the plastic, and it was annoying. So instead of just dealing with it or replacing it, at the time I was quoted like $280 to replace it, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to pay for that. I don't care. So everything still works, of course. It's just I have chopped this off. I've smoothed the plastic out, so you're not going to catch your dress pants or jeans or legs or whatever on them. So yeah, I had to drill holes to carry this around so it's nice and clean and it works right. yeah, it's a little ghetto. It's $145. I'll put a link to the eBay I saw for a brand new one in this exact color from Land Rover. Now that there's a less expensive option, I can see how somebody might care and want to replace that or throw it in the garage to just have for down the road. I don't care. So that's how it comes. Anyway, here, I'll pull this out for a second, get these rocks out of here. So, you know, a couple stains, absolutely, but otherwise very clean. It's always had a matte down. The previous owner really trashed the carpet on this side, the driver's side, so I got rid of it. It had a badge on it that was coming out and did not look very good, and it was just the backing was falling apart, so I just got rid of it. I showed earlier, I got this little guy put in here. Let's back a little bit. It's just I screwed it in place, 2 screws. I measured very carefully, you know, measured 5 times, drill once. It goes into the tunnel and just holds that in place. So if you're in an emergency, you can pull this out and you got a way to break yourself out of the car. Hopefully that never happens. And obviously a razor blade that's contained so you can cut yourself out or somebody else out if they're in an accident. Anyway, there you go. So it's kind of the highlights on leather and seats. I do have the original green carpet mat for the back. It's a big long, why am I not focusing here? Big, long, one-piece affair. I have that, and I have it for the passenger side. Maybe you want to use those in the summertime, I don't know, but I don't have it for the driver's side, unfortunately. So I'm going to hang this up for a second and show you some of the electronic stuff going on here, accessories that are included. Okay, guys, back here at the boot. So a couple of just things I wanted to touch on. You know, I know there's a lot of people that might not give a crap about the paint on a 15-year-old vehicle, but I have gone to a lot of effort to take good care of this thing the best I can. Now, yeah, we've had a couple scratches. Actually, let's run by real quick and see if we can catch them at all. I don't know if they're going to show up. No, that's a parking line, so don't get too excited about that. There are definitely a few scratches in the clear coat. I have not gone to great effort to try and remove those. I have gone to great effort to keep the paint free of contaminants, so I clay bar it at least once a year. I know there's enthusiasts that really do their, you know, RS6 Audis all the time, and they just go to great efforts to keep it just showroom clean. I don't, but I do take care of it when the season's over. So the paint is very clean. Like I said, I'll show you what the sounds a little gritty actually because I haven't washed it in a couple days, but the paint has all the contaminants removed. I wax it at least once a year, and quick waxes like the little spray stuff more frequently after car washes. So quickly, let's just talk about something that isn't visible. You really can't see it, but right here you can see this line. So this is a paint protection film that was applied, not from the factory, I don't think. I think it was literally at the dealership, or the dealership had it done. Maybe it was from the factory, I don't know. But you can't really see it except for you know, the edges right here, which are, you know, looking pretty clean, especially for the age. But the paint doesn't have any marks in it. I guess there is one rock there, but like it's been very well taken care of by having this film on there. It actually looks kind of dingy in this light, but the paint is very bright and vibrant when it has some good sunlight on it. There's a couple things, you know, I think this is like I don't know what that is actually. I guess it could be like amber from a tree. I can't get some of these things out even though I've tried. But in general, everything that I could have gotten off, you know, tar, stuff from the road, bugs, I've gotten off. There is one good sized ding here that just narrowly missed taking that guy out. So that was unfortunately me. I did do that boo-boo. Other than that, the front end is in very good shape. So I custom painted this, I guess that's not coming out. There you go. I custom painted this surround to be the same color as the forge interior, and the name of, you know, obviously the Rover letters too. They're kind of that kind of graphite gunmetal thing. So I have this paint. Obviously the license plate's mine, but the frame's included and the little buttons. Kind of a nice, tidy way of keeping it looking nice. So the tow hook cover has been missing for a long time. We did lose that one too in a mud hole, but anyway, who cares? It's easy to replace if you want to. So yeah, otherwise there's no damage there. So this is actually a pretty good angle. You can see. Can you see any of that? Yeah. There's definitely some scratches in the clear coat here on the driver's side. There's a ding here. You know, the nice thing about this color is that it hides things well. If you do this on a black car, you're going to see it very easily. Trying to change the contrast there for the exposure. So you can see there's you know, a couple things here and there, but in general, you know, there's no mud flaps back here, so this gets hit by rocks. This is just a plastic. This is the paint. I even clay barred this, just even though it's so bad, who cares? But I did try and get all the contaminants off, all the tar and stuff from asphalt roads. This is just dinged up from rocks. But you know, other than that, everything's straight. It's never been an accident. So I have a Carfax I can show you from when we bought it from the dealer. I have not done one since, but I've had it for 6 years, so and I can tell you it hasn't been an accident because it hasn't been. So anyway, so that's what. Let's wrap this up. We're running out of daylight. So this is the paint primer, flat soft iron. That's what I used for painting these guys. So it's kind of nice to have that clean and tidy. And there's actually a new carrier back here that actually the license plate screws to, because the other one was really just warped. So that's new. What else? Okay, so that's that. So this is the clay kit that I use. I actually really recommend this. It's inexpensive. It gets the job done. They give you a spray that you use as your lubricant. They give you a towel. I don't know if that's the towel I got with it, but it's a towel. This is the clay that's hammered. This needs to go in the garbage. And then of course it comes with 2 clay bars. Anyway, man, shout out to mothers. You know, I know they're not like the cream of the crop of clay bars and stuff, but I don't know why people will geek out over that anyway. It's kind of stupid. This works great, and it keeps the paint clean, and I've gone to the effort. I venture to guess not a lot of Range Rover owners of this era, 06 to 09, go to that effort. So if you're looking for one that's been, you know, as maintained as best as it could, while also being an adventure vehicle that's gone on thousands of miles of off-road trails and Forest Service roads and stuff, which is what it's designed for. Yeah, it's got some scratches and it's seen some dirt and mud, but it's been taken care of accordingly. This stuff's great too for in-between waxes. This is what I just recently used. Unfortunately, drove through rain the other day, so that's why there's still some some spots here and there. But in general, God, even after driving in the rain, you can't tell. The paint looks perfect from 8 feet away, which is a great thing about this Giverny Green color. So these wipes are awesome. This is what I use on this car and our Porsche. They're like $5 on Amazon. Weiman leather conditioning wipes. Can't say enough good things about them. You just wipe them on, let it sit. You know, really, you can rub in and really like clean with them, so to speak. Even though there's obviously better ways of doing cleaning, you can really go to town rubbing in and getting the leather clean, and then you just buff it with a cloth so you don't go sit on the emollients and stuff. So anyway, you know, the driver's seat has this really thick Windsor leather, and the creases are obviously, you know, telltale of both the animal it came from and where. But with the exception of the marks, you can see that's where it was squeaking when that plastic thing was on there. With the exception of that, and you know, where this is coming off right here, just ever so lightly, it's not flaking. It's not like it's a coating or something. This is a really nice thick leather. And they look really good. And this one could probably use a little bit more love if you really want to get it really shiny. But all the other leather seats are obviously used less frequently and just look super bright and beautiful. Very nice to sit on. I'll walk through some other stuff in a second. FYI, this is how you turn on the heated seats for the back 2 seats. So that's part of the cold weather package that, again, not every Rover has. I don't know if there's a Lux package option that has that, or if you have to have Lux and cold weather. The Lux is basically extended leather, and the cold weather package is that ski thing I showed you earlier, and then the heated steering wheel, you know, heated front seats, heated rear seats, heated front windshield, so you can just melt the snow off. The reservoir for the windshield washer fluid is heated. I think it might be heated on all cars, on all Rovers, whether it's a cold weather package or not, but that's nice. It's just, this thing is great for the snow and mud. This doesn't have the wipers like the 05 and earlier. It has these little squirter guys that shoot a high pressure jet, you know, like about here and about here. They just totally get everything off, especially when you're driving over 10 miles an hour. They just blast it off and carry the fluid away to keep it clean. So sorry about the autofocus not staying on. This is an iPhone 10 and that's all I got to work with right now. Anyway, I think we've done a pretty good job on the walk around here. this video is getting long, but hopefully it'll save people some time and answer some questions about the general condition of it. Real quickly, and then I'll go up front. So you saw that there's a leather steering wheel cover on there. I sewed it on myself. It's from this British company, MS Steering Limited. Great outfit. The one that they sent me was probably about 2 millimeters too wide, like the strip of leather. And so when I put it on, I was like, gosh, it seems like it's a little big. Is it going to shrink up? There's just, if you're really particular, it's ever so slightly, just a tiny bit too big. Can you see that? It doesn't sound like it's loose when you're driving. I mean, it's still very secure to the wheel. I mean, it's literally all sewed on by hand. I mean, I did this. You know, this is not rocket science. It takes about 2 beers, so about 45 minutes, right? And there's nothing wrong with the leather on the main steering wheel, like under the main coating. It's just a smoothed out leather. It's 15 years old. It's seen a lot of hands and a lot of miles. So if you just don't like that look, yeah, just cut it off. Be done. You could probably sell this for $50 because they sent me a second one, because this one is cut just that ever so slightly bit narrower, so that when you go and sew that one on, it should be an absolute perfect fit. I'm not going to bother. I think somebody, if they want to have this as a spare, they probably don't care, and this will be fine for now. Or if they just don't want it at all, I'm not going to waste 2 more beers sewing another one on. But that is a nice steering wheel cover, and there's a second one included. So whether you buy this at $10,500, which is my firm price for nothing included, you're still going to get this because I have no use for it, right? And also included is 2 spare lug nuts. So obviously those will be helpful for you in case you happen to lose one, which would be a bad day indeed. But at least you got covered for that. Here's what is this? 22 millimeter socket onto a 1/4 inch hex, so you can use your Allen wrench, just pop things off quickly if you want. All right, here's the other 2 things I'm going to talk about for electronics wise. So this is I'll put the link in the Amazon, or in the description for Amazon. This is a great little Bluetooth thing. So obviously this car is old enough that it does have Bluetooth, the very early version of it, but it only worked with I think the 1 or 2 Nokia phones. It's ridiculous, right? So obviously you're just going to use your modern iPhone or Galaxy or whatever you got. So this allows you to play your iTunes, your music, your phone calls, anything that's Bluetooth connected. You can play through here. You just have it tuned to a frequency, which I'll show you in a second. Second thing is I got this OBD2 link thing, dingle dongle. This works great. They make a couple of different versions. This one only works with Android, so if you have an iPhone, you'd have to have a spare phone to check things with. I've never really had any problems, but it is nice. If you have any codes pop up, there's a problem with, I don't know, whatever there's a problem with, this will be a way that you can view that. So I got the box and everything, and you can, this is included with selling it for $11,000. I'm not trying to penny pinch here, guys. I have a lot of extra freebies that I'm not going to just throw in if somebody's really trying to get the price down. So if we find a reasonable deal, I might throw in certain things. If you don't want the boxes, for example, you don't want to pay for that, you don't want that stuff, I'll get this bolt out of here, get it cleaned up, and keep these, and take $100 off or something. Here's a nice thing though. You're probably going to want this. Again, this is included for $11,000 if you want all the things I have, every single thing there is available. This is a nice Range Rover. I'm not going to take the whole thing out, but it's a nice windscreen or sunshade for the front. It's pretty nice. So anyway, I'm going to hang this one up here and go to the front, turn the car on, and I'll show you how the electronics work. Okay guys, so now I'm back in the front seat here, obviously. So I have, I'm going to go and turn the car on, right? So this is here, let me go back under here. This is where the little dongle plugs in, right? This is that OBD2 guy, and it just sends information from the vehicle's computers to this app. Let's see here. This is OBD Link. Is that right? Yeah, OBD Link is the name of the app. Oops, I'm gonna mess things. Anyway, so it's connected here. There's so many options. You can hook up a whole bunch of things if you really want to get geeked out. Mass airflow sensor, and you know, you can. It's just nice if you want to get into that kind of stuff, and if you don't value this or don't care, then whatever. Totally understand. So there's, where do we go? Diagnostics. Yeah. So diagnostics is where you go if you have like an engine light out or engine light coming on over here, which would be down in that corner. As you can see, there's snow codes. It would show up here so that you can then read what it is and understand what you're dealing with and get on with your day. So this is attached, there's a metal plate in the back of this, and this is a scotch mount that it's 3M adhesive attached to the leather dash. If you want me to remove it, I'm happy to. It's pretty handy. It doesn't charge itself. You have to, obviously plug into something down here to be able to power it. But if you're just looking at it briefly or something, great. I used to run my maps off of here, so I could have my navigation and radio here, be looking at my my map here, and then have my main phone. Well, I actually used to have it down here. I used to have it down at the dash, but that one was really rattly and loose. So I got this new Magic Mount. This Magic Mount is also by Scotch, as you can see. It's a line of theirs. It's magnetic, so I can't show you my phone, my iPhone 10, right now because I'm using it. But that's what I usually have attached to that, and it's attached to the dash via 3M VHB adhesive and these clips to the back of the Cherry. So it's very secure, and it holds the phone and magnetically or wirelessly charges it. So it'll work on iPhone 10, 10s, 8. I mean, whatever is wireless. I guess that's 10 and newer. And there's adapter plates. There's $10.99 from ProClip USA that you can get to fit any phone, whether it's a Galaxy or some other wireless Android or an iPhone. Anyway, so here let's show you guys how this works. Oops. So if you go to 92.7, that's what I've tuned to for my area. It depends on your area. You may have to tune it differently to find a dead airband space or however you call that. But so this little guy plugs in here to the cigarette lighter, and it just sends information to here. So because I'm on the video camera, I guess what I could do here, here's a good little link, by the way. This is from rangerovers.net. This is a great little introduction for people that have no idea what this vehicle is about or just want to read up on more of the basics of it. I will put this link in the bottom down there in the comments, and you guys can let me know if you have any questions. What was I saying? So if I turn on my music here, am I already on Bluetooth here? Let's turn that off. Bluetooth, ROAV. Hopefully it'll pull from that one. I think I might have to, here, let me hang up for a second, get this sorted out. Okay, sorry about that, guys. It was connected to my phone. So now it's connected to my iPad Pro. So, like I said, if you happen to have an iPad Pro 11-inch, anything from 2018 and newer, this is called an Easy Roller Mount. So it's really slick. I don't know if this is going to show up. It just clips in one place. There's a place for your Apple Pencil if you have one of those, or if you would be driving around with that. I don't know why you'd be driving around with it, but I use it for navigation. So Gaia is one of my favorite apps. This thing's been really great. So like, here's a trip I did just recently where I drove from Seattle down to what's called the Backcountry Discovery Route. Well, it's dirt roads, but somebody called it the Backcountry Discovery Route, Section 2. So it's just kind of nice to be able to have a large screen that's also, you can also use your regular navigation on here. And of course, this is just a RAM mount, so you can use the RAM mount to mount another phone or a smaller tablet or whatever you want. It's just that's what I happen to have at the moment. So let's turn the heated seats on. It's getting kind of cold. So anyway, if you want to play music or play movies even, geez, I guess you could do that. So let's just show everybody how this works. What's going on here? So what I found is that if you max out the volume on the iPad or on the phone here, there's no scratchiness at all. It's very clear. And I'm just going to jack it up for a second. Here, let's go to some Muse. Anyway, I'm just turning it up for a second so you can see how it's very clear Bluetooth connection. Some people have had bad experiences with these kind of Bluetooth devices. I would say this is one of the best ones I've come across. I've had some crappy ones in the past, but this is a good one. Anyway, that's probably of use to somebody. I got all the original cigarette lighter things too. Here, let's go around real quick. We're running out of daylight here. Just going to show you how this whole affair connects. So if you do want to, let's pull this back a little bit. If you do want this mount, you can see I've had to, this is an aluminum post. So I had to custom bend it to like make it fit right. And when I say fit right, I mean like you don't want to hit your passenger's knee, right? So usually it's my wife or having a dog on the lap. It's just basically as far over to the right as you can go without being really annoying. And if you need to pop this open, you can see there's still free clearance. You can get in there. Anyway, how it mounts, how it actually attaches is down here. So it just bolts. I actually went under the frame rail so that way the seat can go all the way forward, all the way to here. Not quite as far forward as it normally could go, but as far forward as you would almost ever need to go. So that just bolts in. It's very solid. If you want to just, you just undo this one bolt here, this one Allen bolt with a lock wrench or lock bolt, lock nut on the other side. Sorry guys. You can just pull this whole thing out and only have it in there for like trips without having to make it a big deal to put it back in. And then real quick, let's see here. If you pull this out, I just wanted to show you guys. Here's a little charging thing. This is kind of handy. This is not included. This is just a tool I have for diagnostics and other things. Use it for my motorcycle. But so that just plugs in there, and it just shows you that the alternator's obviously working as it should. It'll fluctuate depending on what it's doing and what you got turned on and all that. So now it goes up. No, it's really charging because I just turned the heated seat off. But anyway, it's kind of a nice, here, let's put the, yeah, so it's showing, basically it usually shows around 14.3 to 14.5, and here, I'll pull it out, put it back in. Yeah, anyway, obviously the alternator is working great. What else wouldn't you know about? So if you don't have a Range Rover already, these have these pull-down armrests, which are adjustable. So you adjust the height of them by turning this little wheel. Pretty genius design, really. These are leather. They are, they're not very helpful if you're a driver because I think they get in the way of steering. So I usually just leave mine up. But if you're just lounging or you're on a road trip and you're just cruising along straight, it's kind of nice to put your arm somewhere. So this is the 06. So this is the last year that they had the shifter in the middle. They moved it over and had more space on the right hand side on 07 and newer. But anyway, this pops out and you have your center cup holder here, which is great. I know it looks kind of flimsy and weird. It is weird. It's scraped up on the outside as you saw, but it works great for having a 12-ounce coffee or like a 16-ounce iced coffee or obviously a can of Coke or whatever. There's plenty of adjustment room, and it works. It's actually one of the few things cup holder wise I think is great. This cup holder, the main one, it comes with this little insert thing, which it's just a pain to come out with one hand. I'm not going to embarrass myself trying to take it out, but I put some like foam in here to help keep some kind of cans quiet. Basically, you can fit anything here. You can put a huge like 40-ounce insulated cup in here. It fits great. You just can't have that and the handle turned to the right and this open. So there's a couple of things they didn't think about really well, but it works fine if you're traveling solo or if you just can turn your handle on your cup. There's also one over here for the passenger. So this pops out, and then let me see if I can show this to you. So once it pulls out, you pop this down, and then you can put your can there. So that's actually a pretty trick. And well, God, if I didn't cover everything, well, I guess I didn't cover everything. Look at that. Still one more thing. So there's the sunroof. It also has a tilt function, of course, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot to know about this thing. Obviously, I've covered a lot. This is like probably an hour by now, total run time, but that's kind of a good overview. Here, one thing I'll show you because people will certainly ask about the air suspension. Obviously, it works great. I told you the air compressor, which is down there, has been replaced. We had to replace the valve block at the front right too because it was leaking, and then the two front struts have been replaced. The rear airbags are still the originals, believe it or not. 164,000 miles. I talked to my mechanic about even doing them proactively. He said, don't bother. He's never seen one fail. I don't know if that's just him being, why would he not want my money, right? I asked if I should just go ahead and replace the rear airbags, but they're great. So as I will show you in a second, everything works perfectly. So right now we're in standard mode, okay? So this is how you run. This is what it looks like when you're just in the parking lot and just driving down the road. Now, there's two ways to put this in access mode, which drops it down lower. There's this thing right here, which I'm gonna go ahead and push. So there's back up. So, am I holding steady enough you can see it? So you can see it's a drop down. I think it drops down 2 inches, so now this is as low as it goes, right? And this just makes it easier to get out if you're, I'm 5'11", it makes it easier for me to get out, let alone if you're a girl or woman or grandma or the Queen of England or something. So now that we're down at the bottom, you're gonna ask how the air suspension goes back up. Well, you go down here on at least mine, because I don't have an 07, I think it's 07 and newer, when they had the revised center console, when this shifted over to the left, they put the what do you call that, terrain response or train response 2 or whatever it was down here. So that's how you would change it. I think on those there's like a button. On the 06s it's here, so you can see this is indicating it's in the lowest mode. Here's normal mode and here's high, so it's in the low mode. Now I got the door open, so I gotta get out of the car to show you how this works, otherwise it won't go up or down. So now it's gonna say raising, right? But it's trying to raise, but I gotta close the door. So let me close the door. Back up. There we go. You can see it just pops right up. This should be it. It takes just like 20 seconds. Are we up? Yeah. So now if you look in there with the door closed, standard mode. Okay. So now I go up to the highest mode, which is off-road. Well, it's not the highest. I'll explain in a second. But so here you can hear the compressor running back there. Okay. So I'm going to turn it up. Now it's going to say raising again. It's going to try and go to off-road mode, which of course it will. And off-road mode's great. You know, it only works up to 30 miles per hour, so you can see it going up there. If you're in the sand dunes or going through a big puddle, or you're driving off-road and there's rocks, obviously, all good reasons to put it in off-road mode. You can drive around on it all day long like that. It's not like it's constantly putting air in. It just puts the air in once and it keeps it there until you lower it down. Anyway, this is a good chance to run up here. So here's the air struts. I know you're probably not going to know what you're looking at, but for those of you that do, so I know it obviously looks used. It is used. It's been on there. This strut's been on there, I think, for a year and a half now. But remember, the first one didn't fail until 102,000 miles, and the second one, the right-hand one on the other side, passenger side, that went to 136,000 miles before it first failed. So they last a long time. I consider these to be wear items. They're not something that like fails and like they're unreliable at all. If you need to get home, you'll get home. It'll put you on the bump stops, of course, and it's going to be a not smooth ride because there's no air. But you will get home. And replacing the air suspension compressor and keeping these struts, I'd replace them maybe even proactively. If you just wanted to have absolute reliability, you would just go ahead and replace it when you get to, 100,000 miles from 102 or 130. So, a long time from now, right? We're talking years. So they take a lot of abuse. They're very well built. I know it's kind of hard to appreciate what they are. They are quite the marvel. Air suspension is kind of standard on a lot of things these days, but back in the day, these guys pioneered this stuff, and they did a great job at it. So the rear airbags, like I mentioned earlier, have not been replaced, and like I also mentioned, you can't even see them. They have to get way under here. They are beefy dudes. They are huge. And they take the weight, they don't have to run into a rock or something going around a corner. They don't go up curbs. All they have to do is go up, down, up, down, up, down. So it's very easy to, look at them. We can get them on a lift if you want to look at it closely. But there's no leaks, no sagging, never. Not after 2 days, not after 2 weeks, not never. It's just everything's tight and works as it should. So this is a standard naturally aspirated, so there's no tailpipes that are shiny chrome tips. They're tucked up under on the 4.4 naturally aspirateds. I'm not sure. There you go. So that's where they are. The muffler there, or collector, or whatever you call that thing. There's a tiny bit of rust, surface rust, but nothing, because there's no holes. Everything's very solid. I think the exhaust from the headers back is all stainless steel. Last time I had it up on a lift, I looked at it, and it looks very clean. And I'm happy to show that to anybody. Or we can roll under here with some yoga mats and crawl around in the dirt and look at it. You can see every single inch of it. It looks very clean. We've taken it to the sand dunes. We have driven it on the beach once, but we've always taken it to the car wash like literally within hours, usually down in the Oregon dunes. So never seen salty roads. We don't even take it skiing very often. I've been on it skiing a few times in 6 years. I just don't really do that anymore. So basically lived a pretty pampered life. Commuting to an office park like this is mine, but a different one, and obviously going on road trips and then summer camping trips. So I think the next owner will be very pleased, and you know, we've loved this thing. We actually, like I mentioned in my Craigslist ad, which I'll link to here, we've had this thing for, well, how many miles is it? We bought it at like 78, I think, 78,000 miles, and it's now at 100 and, what are we at? I should probably actually show people that, because I think on the ad, when I first posted the ad, it was like 163 something, so now we're at 164, 124. So anyway, we've had it for a while. We've had it for more miles than either of the first two owners, and hey, if you want to go to the Oregon Dunes again, permit's still good until June of next year. Anyway, you know, it's going to be bittersweet selling this. It's certainly not, we're not dumping it. You know, we put a lot of love and money into it. It takes something to get it from, you know, under 100,000 miles, and there's, you know, of course, zero problems, up to 164. There's a lot of money we've had to spend to get it to be ready and reliable, because the things start breaking. You know, the air suspension can't last forever. I'm a little disappointed in the engineering of the original air conditioning system. Like, why would that break? That shouldn't break. That shouldn't break. It broke last June 2019, right when we were trying to go on a hot trip in the middle of the hottest time to Portland. It was brutal, and then we had to go spend $3,400 to replace it and the radiator. Speaking of which, I suppose I should probably open the hood up and show you guys around the engine bay while there's a little bit better daylight than in my garage. So, you know, we've taken care of all the problems. We've done the alignments. We've taken care of the tires. The brakes are quality. Like, you know, new battery. We've done 3 batteries now. Put a battery in every 3 years, if not sooner. This one's been in there for a year, so you got 2 more years to go on that. You know, they're not expensive to maintain, but they're not a Honda Civic LX from 2004 either. Like, it's a heavy vehicle that requires. Well, it's a 4.4 liter engine. You know, you gotta expect that you're gonna get in the 20s on a road trip, like 20, 21, 22. We've seen on road trips if you put it in cruise control. But otherwise, driving around town, like, you only get 13 miles per gallon. Sometimes even in the high 12s. Depends on how lead-footed you are. These are bigger tires, like I mentioned earlier. They're heavy. They're not the, you know, soft, cushy tires that it comes with, which I think are totally inappropriate. These are beefy, heavy tires that are unlikely to get a flat unless you literally drive over a pile of nails. They're quite tough, and the heft definitely decreases the fuel economy a little bit, but I think it's well worth the money and the weight. So anyway, like I mentioned earlier, next due for an air intake filter. You can do it whenever, really. I mean, I think now that I've done it several times after having it for 6 years, I've realized that doing it at shorter intervals to try and be like proactive is stupid. It's just a waste of money. The intervals are fine unless you're driving through like Namibia, which we have not driven through Namibia, so I think you're solid to wait till then. Just did the cabin air filter, that's the pollen filter, as people call it, at, 2 months ago. You know, the radiator is new, that's the overflow tank. I know it looks kind of old, but it's solid. The fan belt down here was replaced. There's nothing to do to the engines that I'm aware of. We've never had any problems. I've never had heard of anybody having problems with the 4.4 Jag motor. So I'm taking this from both reading on the rangerover.net forum and also listening to my mechanic who's been working on these things since they came out. It's a good year. So if you're looking for, you know, the nicer seats, the nicer leather, a light interior, a cool color. I mean, Giverny Green is rare. We've never seen another one. I mean, the seats are very comfortable and very adjustable. It's great if if your passengers are tall, you're going to have a better time being in like a Ford Excursion or you know, a Cadillac Escalade or something like that. I mean, there's not a ton of room. Obviously, you can see I have the seat pushed back pretty far right now, the passenger seat. But in general, if you're just driving around friends or you have kids in car seats, this is a great rig for that sort of thing. If you just want to keep it as kind of a city driver, great. You know, you do you. But it's also very capable for Forest Service roads and camping. You can put a roof rack on top of this thing and a rooftop tent. It has a 27.6 gallon tank, and it holds a ton of fuel, so you can go 500 miles, and you can really enjoy yourself in comfort and style. I guess it is pretty stylish, and it's reliable. You know, it's been a very good vehicle for us. Why are we selling it? Yeah, everybody, well, not everybody asked that, but some people have asked. Well, we're looking for a truck. At this point, you know, we were originally looking at Ram 1500s, like a Rebel, or even the 2500 Power Wagon, so we could have a truck that we could put dirt bikes in. Obviously, you know, we could tow something with this. We could get a trailer, but we live in an apartment that's not likely to change anytime soon in our expensive Seattle marketplace. So having a trailer doesn't really work. We need a truck. So honestly, our hopes are that we get a Rivian R1T next summer. We'll see if they really come out then. But we're just going to go drive around our Porsche through the winter, and hopefully we can sell this and stop paying for parking in our apartment garage and stop paying tabs on it. Tabs are due next month, so we're motivated to sell it before Thanksgiving, if at all possible. But anyway, I think this has probably been long enough. If you have questions, feel free to email me, message me, comment below. I can message back to you publicly so everybody else can see the response. Oh, now that it's getting dark out, I guess I can show you guys. There are LEDs in the bottom of the doors. I know it doesn't look like much, but man, these are nice at night. When it's dark out, they provide a lot of light. They're under obviously both doors. And also, let's see here. It won't be on. It won't be on right now, but there are puddle lights on the bottom of the mirrors. I think they're not on because the car is running. Anyway, there are lights under there. Oops, and they are LEDs, and they're very bright, and they definitely cast a nice glow, you know, several feet. And I think I already mentioned it, but just in case I didn't, well, here, let me turn on the hazards for you guys too, but the lights here are all LEDs. Actually, that's a good idea. Let's turn on the lights so you guys can see what this all looks like. So this is, you still see that? That's a rear fog light. You pretty much never turn those on unless you're literally driving through pea soup. Front ones I turn on. There you go. So here's the rears. There's the fronts. Fronts off, fronts on. Turn them on. And then what else was I going to do? Oh, I was going to turn on the hazards. Hazards are right here. Just so you can see what the turns look like. So those are LEDs right there, right? The little running lights. Those guys are LEDs. I know they're kind of flickery. Obviously, they don't really flicker in real life, just with my camera. So that's what the front looks like. The lights on. And there's the back. Kind of a cool circular pattern there. There's marker lights at the back there. Let's put this back in low mode here. Do this one more time. Show you from the back. Hurry up! It goes down pretty quick. Sorry, you see it going down? Try to hold it steady. Anyway, so in low mode, it squats down quite a bit. And here's these. I did not convert to LEDs. I did at one point, and then they were just such cheap pieces of crap. I just put the original halogen bulbs back in. You can replace those easily if you just find the right fitment. It's a festoon bulb. Yeah, big word, festoon. Anyway, there you go. That's about as much as I can talk about. It's getting dark now and cold, but happy to answer any questions. And of course, if you're interested, I'm willing to meet you pretty much whenever. I work from home these days. This is, what is the date today? Oh, my Apple Watch died. I don't know what day it is. It's October something. So we're hoping to sell it the next couple of weeks here. We've had it listed for a couple of weeks actually, but I never put a lot of effort into doing a video so people can see it from from Oregon and Idaho. I've had a number of people messaging me who just can't get over here yet or are coming over in the coming weeks. So if you're one of those guys, let me know when you want to come do a test drive, and we can walk through everything again if you want. We can talk about all the details, but I think I've done a pretty good job giving you the overview. So anyway, thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye. Hey guys, back here again. So just wanted to real quick mention how these rear seat heaters work. There's a two-stage. One star is, or one button, one light is just a little bit less warm. That does the outboard seats, that one, and of course the one I'm sitting on here. So this little, here, let me get my mask out of there. So this is what I was mentioning is also included for my full price of 11,000 bucks. This thing's $100, this whole affair. So this thing's $50 and that thing's $50. Now you can get another one of these bases here and you can put it on this side, and then you can plug in a thing that's kind of like this, but it fits to like an iPhone or an Apple iPad or a whatever kind of tablet, Android tablet they are, that you can have your iPad, you know, sitting right here for your kids. So that's kind of a nice thing. I just have this basic one, which is for hanging, you know, dry cleaning, whatever, and it's nice. I mean, it's really solid. They also make one for hanging your like sport coat or your raincoat or just whatever coat you want. And they also have a little thing that has a drop-down tray that folds down, so you can like write on it or whatever. So they're pretty cool. This is actually a feature from they started making for the Range Rover Sport and Range Rover full size from like I think 13 and newer, but it does fit on these too, so kind of cool. And then what else was I going to talk about that I forgot? Oh, right, the paperwork. So I forgot one of the biggest selling points of my vehicle over almost anybody else's is that I have really comprehensive maintenance record. So briefly, I can make this available to anybody that's interested. You just message me. So I have this spreadsheet in an Excel version, obviously, this is how I keep track of things. So it shows when we first bought it. When did we first buy it? Oh, 86. I thought it was 78. Yeah, 86,000 miles when we bought it. That was July. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. 86,000 miles is when the engine and oil filter was done for my records by a Toyota, and then it was on their lot, and then we bought it in November 2014 at 86,418 miles. So Lamorna Garage, well known around our parts at least. They did the pre-purchase inspection, and he gave us the lowdown on like what needed to be done and what would be a problem in the future. And he's been a great resource and mechanic for us for the last 6 years. So anyway, and then we've done a whole bunch of work, right? And I have this. I'll hand off the spreadsheet to the next person so they can keep maintaining it. Sorry about the constant focus problems. So anyway, next things to do, you know, brakes are going to be due sometime probably late next year. Depends on how much you drive it, of course. 8 millimeters left on the pads as of September of this year. Engine air filter is going to be due at 184,000 miles, so about 20K from now. I already had the 5-tire rotation done, so the next time would be doing it around 170K or so. And then the inflation, yeah, always got to check that. The guys at the shop never seem to do it right when they rotate them. It's 36 front, 42 rear. So anyway, that's something that I'll have for everybody. It all goes in this binder, right? I kind of pulled everything out. Here's the binder. So here's all the Land Rover Seattle receipts. I'm not going to go through everything one by one right now. Sorry for the focus again. I've had all the control arms. Oh yeah, the control arms. So the control arms have been done, like the lower front and front upper. God, there's so many different words. There's control arms because this is obviously independent front suspension. So there's control arms on the front that are lower ones and upper ones, and there's knuckles and there's bushings. Those have all been replaced. Okay, so if you're looking at another rig that has like 150K on it or even less or more than mine, Jesus, if you're going to compare apples to apples, make sure that they've done the suspension work that needs to be done to maintain this thing. Otherwise, you're going to have sloppy handling. You're going to make a bunch of noise. They're just going to continue to deteriorate. I've spent the money and taken care of my vehicle so that you don't have to worry about it. So that's why I'm asking more money than people that are dumping theirs for like 7,000 bucks or even less, 8,000 bucks. If they don't have comprehensive service records and they haven't done the same things that I have, please don't tell me my price is too much. It's not too much. I have taken very good care of it, and I have the records to back it up. So here's all the stuff from Land Rover Seattle. Yes, there are some. Sorry, I got cut off there. So yeah, there's definitely some things I think are worth doing at the dealer. I mean, one of the most important things. So yeah, so diff oils, diff oil, transfer case oil. So on this, the transmission pan has an integral filter. So that's kind of nice. You get a whole new pan filter. You know, everything's all built in. So this was a while ago. This was obviously 2016, but that was the last time. That was at 1901, Hang on, let's look here. So that was at 122,000 miles was when we had the oil filter change, diff oils, front and rear, transfer case oil, tranny oil, the pans, power steering service, all that stuff. So due for that again, I don't know, maybe 2 years or so, depending on how much you drive it. Anyway, they say, technically they say in the manual that they're sealed for life, which is horseshit. That's absolutely untrue. Every mechanic will tell you that is something they want you to do, so you just wreck something and then you have to go have a whole new, you know, $5,000 transmission put in or something like that. Take care of it. Keep taking care of it if you buy this from me, because I've put the time in and money to make sure that it's going to last for a long time. Other things, there's another big one that you should definitely be tuned into, because where was that? Oh, right here. That was actually just that month too. We spent a bunch of money in December 2016. So the intake boot, one coil of the 8, I'll explain in a second why. The spark plugs, technically they only did 2 spark plugs, and then Lamar did the other 6. So all have been replaced. All spark plugs were new in the last, 4 years now. Where is my... We also had to do, oh, hang on, there's something else. There we go, 7 coils, that's what I was looking for. So there's the other coils. So we did all 8 coils, new throttle body. Okay, now that's what, you'll still get home if that dies on one that you're looking at that has not been replaced. But if your throttle body hasn't been replaced, you're looking at another vehicle that has similar miles to mine, make sure it has, or be forewarned, you're gonna have to go dump some money into it to make sure that it keeps running. You'll still get home. It's not going to leave you stranded. Nothing's actually ever left us stranded, but that did give us a low power output, and we had to like limp to the dealership on the freeway at 65 miles per hour. We couldn't go hard. We couldn't put it in sport mode because it wears out. The throttle body had been replaced, all the coils, spark plugs, intake boot, that kind of stuff. If you have another vehicle you're looking at that has upwards of 120K, definitely ask and make sure that stuff's been replaced if you're going to be comparing it to what I'm selling here, because that obviously is some money you have to dump into it. The orange file, this is all Lamorna Garage stuff. This is all stuff from the independent dealer that I had them do the pre-purchase inspection. So they've done a bulk of the work. Lamorna is who you see on this. That's pink. All the pink stuff is Lamorna stuff, and green stuff is Land Rover. Anyway, they've done a ton of work. New fuel pump too. New fuel pump was just this August. So that's another thing that you don't got to worry about for a long time now. That lasted 162,000 miles before dying, and now it's got a new one. So here's the Carfax too. Not really a whole lot this is going to tell you, because this was done, this is 6 years ago, but it does explain that there's 2 previous owners. I'm not sure how much this is going to be able to tell you right off the bat. But anyway, it was sold new from Jaguar Land Rover. No, that was a pre-delivery inspection. Sorry. June 27, 2006. So technically it wasn't sold until, it looks like, July 2006. If I'm reading that right. So anyway, there's the whole thing. I do have a little sales brochure here too. This is kind of cool. Obviously never even looked at this. This is I bought this off eBay a couple of years ago just because I thought it was kind of cool. It's just the sell brochure you'd see at the dealer 15 years ago, fall of 2005. So it just goes through, kind of a lot of hocus pocus, I guess. Talks about the chassis. So this is kind of cool. So that's included. It's a nice little fat brochure that goes over all that. And here's if you go for the wireless charging thing too, there's some extra parts here that may be helpful if you're wanting to attach your phone to that. All right, well, that was probably long enough. Hopefully that gives you a pretty good idea of how well this has been maintained and loved indeed. But time to go. So let me know if you have questions. Thanks a lot for looking. Bye.